Okay, so you can start even earlier than this, but I love talking about high school years and like just like yeah, what life was like in high school and if you like had an idea of like what am I going to do with my life? Like I feel like that's like when the pressure really gets on of like what are you doing next? Who are you going to be in this world? So like what
Yeah,
was
high
life
school was
like? Did
pretty
you
fun.
have any idea? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess at the time I never really thought what I would be, I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing now, but I was always a pretty hard worker. So when I was in high school, I was working odd jobs. I would work the cashier register for our school lunches. I had a job at a smoothie shop. I would do weird jobs for my friends' parents, like office work, whatever. I kind of always been really into working. I don't know. Maybe I probably get that from my parents. They were always like very hard workers, like from ever since I could remember. So yeah, no, no, I had a fun high school experience. But then on the side, yeah, I was just like kind of hustled all the time.
Does that like you said it comes from your parents, but like was it also like in the fact of like let me earn money, like and gain money, or was it not was that not the only motivating factor of just like you really enjoyed like maybe the satisfaction of like doing something and being paid for it, of being of service or something? Was it a bit of both or like yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no, no, let's earn money.
yeah,
Let's
probably a
keep
little bit of
like
both. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess at the end, probably that's a big part of it. So my family immigrated here from Ukraine when I was 3 years old, and so I think like kind of a pretty typical immigrant story where like they came over with nothing, and we got some assistance, but really, not really any kind of standard of living. So yeah, they were working like babysitting, cleaning jobs, security guards, like whatever really they could get. I know my dad used to deliver pizza. So I think probably just seeing that, I think really like, so that work ethic, and then also kind of like a way to make ends meet. And so maybe, yeah, like maybe the money was part of that, just seeing how like it was a struggle. And now I can kind of work for myself. And then this is money I can spend, and kind of going into college, I think that was like very helpful.
yeah, but yeah, it sounds like it wasn't purely financially. Like, yes, you, of course, we all like usually want more money in those years, especially with the immigrant parents growing up. I'm sure, but like, yeah, that you saw them modeling in that, so it sort of made have just been like, well, this is what you do. Great, now that I can be in the
Yeah,
workforce, let
exactly.
me join too and like show up like they are. So, what you did end up
For
going to
sure. And
college? Oh, good.
I did. Yeah, I went to school. So I grew up in Tampa, Florida. And I went to school in Tallahassee, Florida State University. Um, and yeah,
And
so like a 4 hour drive from
something
home. So I would still come back often on the weekend.
was that something that was like your choice, or was it just simply like no, like this is what you do, you know, or was that from your family? Did you have an idea of what you were studying, or was it just like that is the next step we take, we get college degree?
Yeah, I think it just felt like it was the next step. And I think a little bit of it, like I think a big part of college for me was being independent, living on my own, and so that was like a big part of it. I knew if I had stayed home, I would have. There's so much experience that I would have missed out on. And then yeah, when I went into school, I really didn't know what I would do. I've always been into business. I've always been into working, and so I ended up doing finance. It felt like the best general kind of subject that kind of piqued most of my interests.
And so what, yeah, what was your college experience like, and then did you end up like pursuing finance like
Yeah, not really. I also had a pretty fun, like I lived with roommates, so I had a pretty fun college experience. But actually, I had a business that I ran from my apartment that I started basically like the summer between high school and college. So basically, I would just order supplements online, and then I had a website, and I would advertise and sell. And so I was doing this kind of, yeah, I know, I was doing this a while ago.
what
I
made
remember I was
you
packing orders in my apartment. I don't
First
really
of all,
know.
how did you even get into
Yeah,
like supplements? Were you taking supplements? How did supplements come into your life? And then what made you want
yeah,
to like create this
that's a good
business?
question. Yeah, why supplements? yeah, I don't know. It's kind of really hard to remember. My brother was into like the raw food movement, and he was selling things online, and it just kind of just I don't know. It's really weird to look back and think how it happened. It just kind of circumstance, I guess, like just timing, just I don't know, just kind of happened. But but in general, healthy living, wellness, that's something that we got from my mom. She was always very focused on us eating well and like eating organic, and this is like, 25 years ago before it was as popular as it is now. So that was also very instilled in us. So like we had the work ethic and then this healthy living aspect. And that's kind of how it all just kind of came together. But anyway, so I was running this business out of college. It kind of gave me a lot of flexibility. I probably like didn't go to class as often as I should have, probably would have if I didn't have this business kind of running on the side. But yeah, I mean, I was doing basically customer service. I was ordering, I was doing the website, I was shipping orders, I was packing orders. So it was kind of like everything I'm doing now, but on a much smaller scale. And now I don't do everything that I used to do then, like now it's a little different, but
Yeah. Well, I want to go back
yeah, I
further
did
than
finance and yeah,
you're talking about your
sure.
brother, because you're saying your brother was like into the raw food movement, and so he was like selling stuff online. So how did he like
Yeah.
start doing that too? Because also like how I
Oh,
don't know
man.
how old you are, but this seems like
Yeah.
different than these days, like more like unusual
Yeah.
or forward thinking than like right
Yeah. It
now.
was
Like right now it's
definitely
like, yeah,
pretty
let me sell
unusual.
something on TikTok, let me do this. Like it's like, sure, you can sell something, but I feel like whenever that was, it was probably a little bit.
Yeah. My brother started, he actually this is so, it's weird to say now, but when he was like 13 or 14, he was a raw vegan. And so he was like really into the subject. He like ate, he lived the lifestyle. And part of that is like dehydrators and blenders and all these things that you need for the lifestyle. And then he just created a little shop online and he was selling these things. This is a long time ago.
Wait, like when he was
And
that
I
young?
kind of followed. Yeah, yeah. He was like when he was 14, 15, he was catering raw vegan events.
What?
I'm not, I know. You should have him on the show. Yeah, really. So I think honestly, like he really he's like the one I kind of follow in his footsteps, So he's
Is
kind
he
of doing his
older?
own thing now, also in the space, and like he's a couple years older.
Okay. So yeah, so you're growing
He
up
was
with
way ahead of his
he's
time. Yeah.
catering events and selling. Yeah, that's funny. Which by the way, I have a dehydrator that I don't think I've used in how many years, but yet I still like won't get rid of
Yeah.
it. I'm like, yep, someday I'm gonna get back in that, and I
Make
don't
some
really know
kilters.
if I will. Like I've been moving it around. It's like one of the only everything I really have, and like I'm someone who utilizes what I have and like let go whatever. But that dehydrator, I'm for some reason attached
Oh, nostalgia.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to have this stuff like humming in our house. All this equipment was there. I mean, I even remember eating, we like when we were just teenagers eating durian, and like this is stuff that like is just very atypical, I feel like. So anyway, so we were like really into the movement, I think way before it really became as big as it is. Um, and so yeah, I kind of just like he was probably like a little bit of a guide, and like so all these things kind of came together, and so essentially that's how I got into that's like how professionally I got into this space. And then also just like that's my lifestyle as well. Like I live that kind of lifestyle.
And so, and then when you decided again, like to, how were you, what was the supplement thing? So would you buy like in bulk? And then like, how were you selling supplements online? Like, you know what I mean? Like, were you just buying, like getting a wholesale account and
Yeah,
reselling them? Or like,
exactly that. Yeah.
like, so you just started
Yeah,
your
exactly
own
that. And just selling on on
like website, but you were just reselling other brands' products.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, which is like a pretty common thing now to do maybe like on Amazon, but back then I guess Amazon was around, but not not in the way that it is now. So yeah, this was just on our website, and like we would advertise on Google. So people would search for different supplements or like different functions that they were looking for, and we would pop up. Um, yeah, it's kind of funny to think back. I haven't thought about this in a long time, but
No,
yeah,
but and then
I would
also
stand in
too,
the post
like
office for like 2 hours.
the advertising too. Like I still get confronted about like I don't think I ever have made an ad for anything that I've done, to be honest. Like, because I'm like, I get confronted about what. So you created a website to wholesale these other brands online of supplements, and then you also figured out how to set
Yeah.
ads on Google. Was that something you all just like taught yourself, or like, okay, yeah, we're gonna need ads? Like, you're like, yeah, just this is just all like, where did that come from to even be like,
Yeah, I guess, yeah, self-taught. I mean, really, yeah, look, researching and just trying things. Like I think once I was in a supplement company and my brother was selling his own stuff, that's when, like, even though we never really worked together, that was when, like, the exchange of information and like ideas and tips and tricks and stuff, we do that to this day. So like that was, so I feel like we kind of like helped move each other forward in that sense. But yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. I honestly, like, to think back, I don't recall exactly like how all these things came to be. Um, but yeah, I just, I have memories of doing them, but like, yeah, all the details, yeah, it's been a while. So I graduated in 2010. So, um, so yeah, this is like, 20, 15 years ago or so.
and so,
Yeah.
did you end up still staying? You said that like you wouldn't go to all the classes, but did you end up graduating and did you stick with the finance degree? And like, was the business
Yeah, I did.
profitable?
It was profitable. Yeah. But I was a teenager. I didn't, I was terrible at money. I just had it and I spent it. So yeah, I wasn't, if I could go back, that would have been nice and, invested it or done something smart with it. But no, I mean, basically, that was like that whole experience was, I think, purely for experience. And it gave me a little bit of seed money to start, eventually to start Sprout Living. Um, but yeah, no, it wasn't like, it was profitable, but for a college student, that's a weird thing, I think.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
make up that
and I
you
was
weren't
independent at that point. I was paying.
right. Like I make up you weren't starting it like this is going to be my lifetime career business that I'm building, but like, oh, how can I make money while I'm in college? So it's profitable to you. Like, great, I'm affording stuff, but not like, yeah, you're building this massive business that's like your namesake or
Right.
something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like basically everything I did in that business is something that is I use today.
Right. Yeah.
So it was just extremely valuable in that sense. But yeah, I did finish school. I finished with the finance degree. I say I didn't go to classes as often as I should have, but like honestly, most of my friends didn't. And so I think it was just kind of the way it is. I think as long as like in college, as long as you are ready for the test, I think attendance isn't as critical. So like yeah, we all are living on our own now. We're out of the house, or we're just like like young, having fun. But still, like, of course, studying for tests and doing papers and whatever else is needed. And then like this thing kind of took up a lot of my time, actually, because like I said, I was like answering calls all day long. I was packing orders, and then I was driving to the post office and shipping stuff. So I mean, several hours a day, every day, really was like I was in this business.
And so you did
Yeah.
graduate with the finance degree. Did you end up pursuing that at all? Or what happens after college? And like, yeah, you're running this business out of your apartment. Do you end up like moving back home? Do you move somewhere else? Do you continue with the business? What happens
Yeah.
next?
I mean, kind of like after this experience of like, so I did all these weird jobs when I was younger, and like I worked in offices and like I filed stuff away for hours in hot warehouses. So I did all, I've really put in a lot of work in a lot of stuff, but I knew then when I did this, when I had this business in college, I just kind of knew then that I would probably be I would just try to own a business, and that was kind of always the goal. So I kind of knew at the time, like, I got this like education, and it's pretty valuable, but kind of figured I wouldn't be working probably for anybody else. Um, and then yeah, so I graduated. I actually started to kind of slow down on the business that I had, because it got to a point where I was selling supplements, and it felt very much like like people were looking for cures for things, and it got a little bit too serious. And like for me, I just kind of like I wanted to kind of step away from that. And that's why like what we're doing now is I think it's a lot more like lifestyle based, and that I think connects with me more, and not really like anything super therapeutical. Um, and so yeah, so like I slowly wound that business down, and then yeah, I went to go live in Virginia for a year after school, just to kind of take some time off. And at that point, probably a year or two after, that's when like I took the idea that I had in college and then figured like, okay, let's make a business out of it, and that's where the protein stuff started.
When you said you felt like people were looking for a cure with the supplements, was that like, were you getting that sort of feedback from customers or like requests when they're like talking to you, or was that just what you started to feel like that the supplement area was? Like, what made you feel like, oh, okay.
Well, because I was so tied into the customer service, people would email and ask like, "Hey, does this help with this, or can this help with this?" And it was always this like, I could never say yes, so it was always just this kind of like I had to be vague. I said like, "Hey, we're not like we're not medically trained here." Like, keep in mind I'm just a college and I'm just a student in college, so like these are like heavy questions.
Right.
Um, from people
Right. But
that are
people
in
will be
like
like, oh, if
serious
I
need,
get
and like
this,
I
will
don't.
like this fix this? Like they wanted like, oh, I want to get the supplement. Well,
Yeah,
that like whatever a thing. And it's like, sure, it's likely going to help, but that's not it. It's like there's, like, well, what does your lifestyle look like?
right.
What is your health? What is your, yeah, like I'm not your doctor. I haven't seen your chart. It's like there's a lot more to it than like somebody, like that sort of
Exactly.
thing. But they're just like, if I take this pill,
Yeah. And
am I good?
yeah, and like what you said is so critical, is like I don't know like your history, I don't know your blood work, like all these things that I understand now, like at my age, like going to doctors and also having like, like my health journey, like I understand all these things that I never really like at the time I had no idea. Like they were just asking me questions and I just don't know the answer. And I never really thought about how actually complex it is. And so like it kind of just started to wear on me, like I guess maybe a little bit emotionally, but also just like it just became like a thing where like I didn't know exactly what to always say, and so yeah, I just kind of knew like okay, like I've done this for several years, like it served this purpose, like I just needed like a break and figure out like what I want to do next, um, and yeah, that was it, I guess, and then I literally just closed the website down and then sold the remaining of my inventory, and that's it, and it felt like great, honestly.
And did you have like a little bit of
Yeah.
like cushion of money to not have to immediately do something next, or did you? And why? Yeah, why Virginia? Was that like? Did you know somebody there, or were you also just too?
Oh yeah, my
I can
parents
close
moved to.
this up, and oh, your parents moved there. Okay, but yeah, it sounds like you,
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
at
Yeah.
that
So
young
I,
age, it's like I can go get a job doing whatever. Like like don't need to worry about it. Or did you have like some padding?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I ended up just spending a year in my parents' basement, just kind of, just I don't know, recovering from college. Because it's like it's fun, but it's intense and stuff, and yeah, I had a little bit of savings, so I wasn't like I didn't feel too much pressure to like go get a job right away. And anyway, I already knew then that like I kind of already knew what I would do, and it was just kind of it was a matter of like just getting in the right headspace to do it, and so yeah, so I just took like a year off. But I mean, I wasn't lazy. I wasn't like on the couch watching TV. I was still very active, and I was thinking, and I was like strategizing, and like learning and reading and understanding about things that would eventually, I guess, come into play.
So like it sounds like you
Yeah,
gave yourself a pause, but you like knew, okay, I know I'm going to start another business. I have an idea of what that would be. And so like gave yourself this time to like recharge and like be more prepared for when creating this next
exactly,
business. And what, yeah, where
exactly.
did the like,
Yeah,
where did the idea, because you said you sort of like knew what you wanted to do. And so like, yeah, creating
yeah,
like protein blends or something yeah, how did you land there?
yeah. Protein seemed random. Well, I was like a vegan vegetarian in college, so like I had stints of being vegan, like pretty hardcore. Like I even did like a raw vegan phase, and then I did a vegan phase and a vegetarian phase. So I kind of bounced around a little bit, just because like I like took in so much information, and it's like everything I read, like it was like there's just not, this is the best, this, like I don't know, maybe not being super super strict is like the best in general, but like very generally speaking, this like plant based lifestyles make the most sense. And so like throughout this, like I was living with roommates that were very much the opposite of plant based, and so like it was that kind of like like I would kind of make my own food in my room, and like they would do their own food in their room, or like just like like eating fast food or going out. Like there was kind of always a mismatch. And so one of the things was for me, like we would all go work out at the school gym, and after the gym they would all go drink their like muscle milk and whatever protein powders that they would have. And I was still very active. We played sports and we were working out, but I kind of got I like didn't drink that stuff because I saw all the crappy ingredients in it, and I just was like I can't drink this. Like knowing what I know, or like this doesn't feel right. I can't drink it. So I basically ordered some pea protein and some other superfoods that I was already aware of, that I was already like I kind of already knew some of these ingredients. Like some of the stuff my brother was already selling on his website. Just the stuff like stuff I would order stuff, and I ended up just making my own protein blend. Like much more simple than what we have now, but basically I would just drink the protein that I made. And that would just be my, like, so I would make smoothies with pea, and like I was like yacon at the time, like yacon root, maca was even then. It's hard to remember all the ingredients in it, but spirulina. So like just a mix of superfoods and protein. And I never thought really at the time to like make it and sell it. I just used it for myself. But then like towards the end, when college was ending, and then I see like some protein products on the market, and like I saw some plant-based products, and I was thinking like, okay, like there aren't too many. Like I think this could be a category that like we could get into. And and yeah, that was essentially that's how it started. Just this idea of like I drink this stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that would want something as clean as what I'm making for myself. And like that kind of approach hasn't changed. I mean, like everything we make is because that's what I would want. Like that's just like that's what I would drink. That's what I drink every day. So and that's like that part has never changed, and I don't think will ever change.
Were any of those other people like curious about what you were drinking and like your own blend or anything? Or did they like not even, they're
Yeah,
just
they
like,
would
oh,
also
Mark
ask
does
me.
his own thing. Like, I mean, I guess because they already know, oh, Mark the vegan, or Mark, like, were they like just sort of like, oh, he's does his own thing?
Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, these are my best friends, so it was that sentiment, but like in a more playful kind of way. But like,
Loving
yeah,
way.
like
Yeah.
Mark is gonna do his own thing, or he's got his own lunch, he's got his own dinner kind of plans. But yeah, no, I would make smoothies for the whole household.
Okay, so
And so yeah, so that
they
was.
would be like, oh yeah, can I have some? Not like, oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, they're pretty open minded. They weren't like gross like vegan food, like not like that, but but still, like the convenience that they had is going into the store and getting a ready to drink or something, or go to GNC, and it's so cheap to get some of these protein powders. But then you look at the list of ingredients, and like I knew because I read these books, because my mom like was really into it, and like so I just kind of already had this understanding of like what you eat is very important. Like what you don't eat is probably even more important. And so like yeah, some of these kind of
Hmm.
fillers and additives and these things, I was just like, it's just hard for me. Like even now, like just I'm a little bit, I'm more probably relaxed than I was then, but still like I see so many. I'm a label reader. I'm like the number one label reader. I'll spend 4 times as long as at the store, because I wish everything was already turned around when I got to the store, like so I didn't even have to bother turning it over. But like it's my thing. Yeah, so like and that's what I enjoy, that, like, and I'm curious, but then also like that's how I shop, like I try to be pretty mindful about what I buy, because I have a 4-year-old daughter, so like what I buy here, she ends up eating at some point too. So like it's all yeah, it just matters.
Did I'm assuming since you said you would make smoothies for them, like would they like enjoy them and like notice like a difference from like, oh, you know, it wasn't just like, oh, you're making one, yeah, I'll have one too, but like they were like, oh, I love that smoothie. Like, wow, what was in that? Like, did they have like feedback or reactions to it?
I yeah, I have. I would say probably a my taste profile or my palate is a little bit different. Like I could drink spirulina in water, and they probably would never do that. And so like I maybe was maybe I don't know. Like I did like I kind of I've always been like this. I like it's like health and then flavor for me, right?
Right.
Like and so
I need the
even
flavor.
then, like when I would make smoothies, you need a flavor. Well, and a lot of people do, and so and now that's a big part. We won't sacrifice things for it, but that's a big consideration. And I love food, and so for me it's a big part of it now too. Like I think before I was a lot more strict, but yeah, like I would just chew on spirulina tablets. Like I don't know, I was okay with me. Like like it wasn't the best tasting, but I knew it was healthy, and so I just felt like it was worth it. Um, so yeah, like my roommates, yeah, they kind of drank whatever I did. The one thing is like, I would sometimes get some pretty obscure things and they were not into it at all. Like the one is durian. I brought durian.
I
The whole house
love
smelled
durian.
horrible. Um, oh yeah, it's the best. But they would basically not let me out of my room.
It does, no,
like
I would
close the
not
door
bring it
and
into
yeah.
my I would not bring it into my home. That's so funny though. I had like a Facebook memory or something from like yesterday of when I was in tour in Asia somewhere, and it was like I just made friends with a security guard and he brought me fresh durian. Like, yeah, it was like I love it, but yeah, it is a unique experience. But no, I was curious because the
Yeah, it's
smoothie
unique.
thing, because
I've never had the
I feel like smoothies can be like such a great way for, because again, I toured for many years, first as a sound engineer and then as a role as a joyologist. So even as like a sound engineer, because I have fibromyalgia, and so I started taking care of my health like early on as a way to like, they were like, here's a bunch of pills, and they didn't do anything. So I was like, okay, this isn't working. Like, how can I make myself feel better because I actually really want to live my life? So like I focused on what I was eating and moving my body and all of these things. So I would like tour with a juicer as a sound engineer and green powders and all the things.
well,
But yeah, like when I started going on tour then and like
all right, so
offering these services to other people, um, smoothies were always the like first way. And we'd have truck drivers. So the truck drivers, like drive at night. So the concert happens, you load out the gear, and then truck drivers and bus drivers are driving all night long in the dark. And so they would normally like pound caffeine drinks and stuff like that. And at the end of this like first tour that I was offering this, almost every truck driver was stopping in my dressing room for their green smoothie, like before at the end of the night, like before their drive. Like, and it wasn't me going around being like, you need the smoothie, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? It was just like, great, you guys are making those choices. We're making these choices. But they'd be like, like what's up with their energy? Like why do they have so much energy and they're not having the caffeine and stuff? So I like started making green smoothies for all, and they're like they're like in their 60s, they're not well taking, they don't take very good care of themselves, and it was like just such a cool thing that I feel like smoothies, and that's why
yeah,
one of the reasons I love all of the Sprout Living products, because it is like such an easy way to add in some
yeah.
extra nutrients, vitamins, supplements for your body, and like that then you can get to like, yeah, that's your 60-year-old truck driver or your 3-year-old kid.
Right. Yeah, it's almost impossible for me to have a smoothie without like protein powder in it or something more. Like I can't just have like almond milk, banana, and strawberries. It doesn't feel like I'm not getting enough out of it. It's like it's almost like a waste. Like there's all very healthy ingredients, but like you can just superpower it. And so like yeah, I have to add something, hemp seeds, you know, flax oil, whatever it is, like spinach leaves, just something. It can't be basic for me. It's hard to make a smoothie that's just like nothing, you know.
So how did you get to, so again, so that's how you started like with the protein, you were sort of making your own blends, and then so you knew that was what you would do next. So how did you get started there, and then also how did you get to like making them taste good, because you said that wasn't an important thing for you? Like, was that
Yeah, no, like,
feedback from someone
yeah, it
else or
wasn't
something?
for
Because
me.
even me too, people have been like, oh, you need to write a cookbook. You're such a good cook and like blah, 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 this. And I would be like, well, I love cooking, but it's more out of necessity because I love food and I want to feel good. So then it has to taste good. Like, so I can't just be like, let
Mhm.
me eat this with all of these great ingredients because they're good for me. Like, I know there needs, like, we're going to need to do something to make that taste good because I love food and I love eating.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I think like for me personally, like my value is, I mean, like I also enjoy food, so like, yes, like I try to make everything as like taste great, but like as a business, I understand that like a lot of people have a lot of taste. It's also, but the tricky thing is it's subjective. Like what I think is good is not necessarily what somebody else does. Like for a very long time, like I've kind of like, I want to keep the sweetness down, like because that's what I like. But I'm also not eating candy, so my like I feel like my tolerance for sweetness is different than maybe somebody else's. But I know like as we try to grow the business, like we need to kind of get to a place where as many people can consume our products because that's the part, right? Like we know we have a very healthy and clean product, but if it doesn't taste good, nobody will drink it, and so then there's no point. So yeah, when we first, it's funny though because like I think our product today tastes much better than it did at the beginning. But we have people now that still tell us, like, why did you change it? Like it was so much better before, and that just happens all the time, I guess. But so we've made a lot of basically every 2 years or so kind of we like we just tear it down and then rebuild it. And just try to make it better, and it's tough because we use a lot of ingredients. Not all the ingredients on their own taste good, and so like we try to like cover up some of the medicinal taste of things, but then we have to keep in mind that like there's just a lot of limiting factors and when we're making a product. So yeah, it's a challenge, but like yeah, like taste and mouthfeel are for protein are pretty critical.
Oh.
um and we don't
That's funny. When
cheat,
you said
we
mouthfeel,
don't
I was
use
like,
flavoring.
huh? But then I immediately like knew what you meant. Cause yeah, some of them are like gritty.
Yeah, like, but it's funny because if it's too gritty, it's not good. And if it's like in a weird way, like I know it's gonna sound weird to say, but if it's like too smooth, it also feels weird. Like
Yeah, it
there's
doesn't
this
feel like
kind
you're
of
actually
like
getting
I don't know. I just
anything.
always go back to yeah. It's just like it's just I don't know, And then but then because of course like if it's too smooth, then their stuff is added to do that. And so like it's this balance of like keeping out the additives and some of these ingredients that like we just like we as a brand avoid, but then still like making it taste good and having a nice texture when you're drinking. It's tough.
So how long ago now has it been since you started Sprout Living?
It's been like 10 years.
Wow. And
Yeah.
you've just continued to
Yep.
like tweak and expand and grow this whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so like when it first started, it was just me. So kind of like basically the same experience that I had with the supplement company in college. It was just me, just answering phone calls. Like, but now
Eh,
everything a little bit more advanced because like I have the experience. I'm a little older. Like, kind of like I funded the company, so like kind of had a little bit kind of more refined. But still, for several years, it was one of those things where like I got into this like loop where I was comfortable and I didn't need employees, and so it was just me trying to do all this thing. But um, and then I would have like once like assistants once in a while to come in because like paperwork or bookkeeping kind of got out of hand and stuff. But it wasn't probably like it was probably like that for several years that I felt like I don't really need anybody, and then all of a sudden it's really hard to even say like when or why it happened, but I was like, okay, we need somebody, and then like we need another person, and then slowly it's like I think this is the mistake I made. I think if I and you can't really like you just can't know things until like you've lived through them, and so this is like one of those experiences where like I kind of thought I could do it on my own. I could save money not hiring anybody and we'll continue to grow. But then I realized like the second we hired somebody, we grew so much more than I would have been able to do on my own. And then the second person, like, so it's like almost like we kind of hire a little bit before we need the person, and they kind of like it always fills up. Everyone ends up always being very busy. So yeah, so really I would say, and like people ask like how long have you had the business? 10 years, but like how long has it been a business? Probably like 5 or 6. Because before that
Got
it was a
it.
hobby. I was working from
And
home. Yeah, like,
did you stay in Virginia when you started it, or did you like move? And how did you?
um
Yeah. So was it again just sort of like you starting it from home, like you making your own powders and listing it online, and then using latest ads to like try to drive traffic, or like how did you start this one?
well, so at the time I didn't no, like cuz I no, I didn't make it at home and sell it. Like I just that always felt like I don't know, it just didn't seem right. So I
Which, yeah,
found
I don't
like a
even know if
company
you
in
like
California
legally
actually that,
can do that. You probably like with yeah with
yeah, I don't know. I
like you probably
probably
need some
could
sort
have,
of food
yeah,
quality certifications or something.
yeah, no, exactly. I didn't know technically maybe that I couldn't have, but I just didn't. I don't know. But I did. So, but I did find like a company. It was a chocolate company in Southern California actually, um, and kind of got connected. I think through a show, and then just said that we're doing this protein thing. Like we want to. Can you guys blend it and fill it for us? Um, and they said yes. And so they were kind of the start. Like the start of where we could make like hundreds, 500 units at a time. Um, and and then we slew, and then over time, like of course we outgrew them, and then we had to find another. So we've been kind of like almost like a hermit crab, like migrating from like one facility to another, like as we continue to grow. But to go back to your question, so like I started in Virginia. I took a trip to Israel. I met like a handful of people, and then I kind of was like, okay, I need to get out of Virginia. I visit a lot, so I have family in Chicago, and I visited when I was a kid. And then I asked, like, just randomly in this group chat from some of the friends in Israel, like, does anybody need a roommate? And I didn't ask where. I just asked, like, does anybody need a roommate? Just to think, like, maybe I could go live somewhere else. And one girl said, I am looking for a roommate, actually, and I live in Chicago. And that was it. And so then I was like, perfect. Like, so then I decided to move to Chicago, and I've been basically here the whole time. I did 2 years in Colombia in South America, um, where I was living with my current wife, or like my wife. I was living with who is my wife now.
Okay.
And so then, other than that, basically Chicago the whole time. Yeah. So I don't know how to word
Got
that
it.
properly.
I understood what
Yeah.
you meant. Your wife before you were married, or yeah, your
Yeah.
your
Yeah. So my
girlfriend who
first
was
and only wife. Yeah.
or your foreshadowing. No, I'm just kidding. My current wife. No. Um, so yeah, because so like with the it's I make up. So you sort of create a formula and you team up with this like factory or something, whatever. So it's like here's my protein formula, and then they're like you maybe even buy the ingredients, whatever. It's like it works out some sort of deal. So they are putting it into the packaging or something, and then are they also like fulfilling the orders, or did you have to like so you're just sort of like running it on like details are out of your hands, but in some ways you have to have more details that you're then organizing because they're going through other companies to like make it happen. Like when you started
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, like in some way, like the further it gets away from you, yeah, like the it becomes more of like like a manager role, basically, just making sure everything is on point. But so like at the beginning, the people that were making it were shipping it. So we would just an order would come in, we would literally email them the order. They would see like 1 unit of this, and then here's the address and ship it. But then as we continued to grow, that became not scalable, and so we eventually found a company that specializes in just shipping. And so we will make, so like, I'll just jump forward just today for the example, but like we make a big production, we'll ship a container of finished goods of whatever proteins to this company. They, basically inventory it all, stock it on their shelves, and then we submit orders to them, and now they ship it.
Yeah, like
So yeah,
proper
so like we don't,
fulfillment
so like
house.
we formulate. Exactly. Yeah. So like it's funny, like, because, and we don't actually, well, we don't really ever see the product. So like we source all the raw material. That's something that I'm like very strict about. Like I don't, they could do it for us, but like I know who we're buying it from and I know what we're buying. And so like we source all the raw material. We send them the formula, we send them all of our labels and packages and, scoops and whatever, and literally down to even to the box that it's packed in. And we just tell them like, here's the formula, you know, fill it, seal it, put the lot here, put it in this bag like this or in this box. And then, so we pick it up and ship it to the company. So we like technically never actually see the product. And I see it because I order it and I use it, but like that process is completely like, it's just completely, it's funny. It's just all digital. For me, I just see it on the computer screen. That's it. So it's kind of funny, like not being able to, but I'll visit the co-packer. One of them is here. So I'll go and I'll watch as they do a blend, and like, they're just like, yeah, it's intense. There's like 2-story blenders that they're using to blend the protein powder. It's kind of amazing to see actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible that how many businesses these days are probably run that way. And I don't know if people like realize it, that it's like, like, yeah, you could, obviously it's a lot more work than, yeah, you just create an idea and then like make it whatever. But like, I don't know, it's pretty cool that you could like, even it's so like scary to make something, but even people that I just saw somebody, but it was like a caddy for your grill or something that you just put a foil thing on to like whatever, so the like your grill caddy, whatever. And I was just like, wow, good for that person. Like you have an idea, then you like, hire some people to then make the idea, and then somebody else is making the idea and fulfilling the idea. Like it's a lot of work, but just like it really just like you have an idea and you keep finding people that can go make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's funny. It's like so different nowadays. Cause like you said, you can like find some random product on Alibaba, order 1,000 of them, send them directly to Amazon, hire a firm to advertise that stuff on Amazon. And then you really can make a business. Like it's not that easy.
It's not even your idea.
Like nothing sells.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, obviously and the other thing is that everything is so highly competitive. I mean, like it's hard. I think this is the hard part is like execution is difficult, but also like figuring out what to do is very like, it's just tough because like, everything exists, it seems like, so, like figuring out how to make that one thing better, that's definitely a challenge.
What are speaking to that in the fact that, there's plenty of other protein powders on the market and more that keep showing up. So what are some things that like make you keep going and keep showing up? And like, what have some highlights been perhaps that like, maybe you do come back to like, oh yeah, that.
I mean, one of the things that honestly for me is like every year we go to there's a big expo in California and called Expo West. And it's basically all brands like similar to ours are there. And this is kind of the only time that we have a chance to like go and sample. So like we'll go and try all of our competitors. Like we'll do it every year. And every year it's like, in some ways it's like discouraging and motivating at the same time. It's discouraging because you see these brands are big, right? And there's a lot of them and there's new ones all the time. But it's motivating because we go and we see, and honestly, they all taste pretty bad. And like, for me, like when I'm like, I don't understand, I know it's subjective. I totally get that. But like, we even took like, cause we've never really done like a very like clear blind taste test with like, even friends, but like, this past expo, we took samples from some big brands. We brought them back to our booth and we had like 5 of our team members there and we did a blind taste test and it was unanimous that like, it's like, how is this the most popular protein brand? This doesn't even taste good. And so, yeah, so like that's motivating. So that always keeps me like, I'm like always encouraged. I'm like, I know we're making cause I mean, like you said, taste is important. So like, I think we're like, again, subjective, but like, I think the taste is pretty good. I always kind of say that like our product tastes like if you were to make it at home, right? Like if you were to bake a cookie at home from scratch, that's what our product tastes like versus like going to like a mass grocery store and buying like a cookie. And like that difference is like, I think it's part of it is because we literally do make it and like we do formulate the products in a kitchen. We don't send this out to like a science, like to like a flavor house or to a lab. Like these are just ingredients that you could go and buy at the store. We just, to the convenience that we just put them together for you, really. So so yeah, that's like that part. It kind of keeps me going, like knowing that we can kind of always stay different because we just do things like in a very pure way. But yeah, it is so competitive. I feel like every day I'm on Amazon looking for protein, just kind of like, looking to see what's out there. I feel like every day I see a new protein powder on the market, and it blows my mind. Like how there's no space, like there's no space left. Like, and still they're coming out. Um, but yeah, like I see that, and then I look at the ingredients, and they're kind of the same as the others, and so then I'm like, okay, like not really threatened. Like, I mean, I am in a way, of course, because it's competition, but like I know that our core customer is not gonna. That's not gonna. They're not gonna change their minds with all these other competitors just because they're very similar.
Yeah. I gotta disagree that yours is like something made in your own kitchen. There's no way that I would make something that tastes that good. And if I
Okay.
did, it was like it would be like me pulling my hair out. I mean, again, like that's one of the reasons I love it so much is because I used to, yeah, be the same way of like, okay, here's the hemp protein or the pea protein or the what did I hear was the best this week or this month to then have, but like the plain protein of like a single whatever origin, and then okay, now yeah, this green powder, the spirulina, and then now maca, and then I'm gonna add goji berries, and I'm gonna add cacao nibs, and I'm gonna add I don't even remember now. Yeah, but it was like 11 to 15 ingredients. And it hemp
Yeah,
seeds, yeah,
it's
and it would
tedious.
chia seeds, and it would take so long, and then figuring out for me because the flavor is important, the sweetness. Oh, that's too sweet. That's not sweet enough. That's too sweet.
Mhm.
That like going like it would take so long to make a smoothie. I would
Yeah.
get into like, okay, this is my like
Well, it takes a
thing. And so like your guys is every single flavor, even the like green, is it Green Kingdom? The green one?
yeah, yeah, the
Like
Green
that one, I was
Kingdom.
like, this one probably won't taste as good, right? And same like every single one that I've tasted without like it's usually I'm just doing something super basic like banana, frozen spinach, water and the protein powder, to be honest. Like that I used to have so much more time and now I'm like, oh, forgot to feed myself. Like so I'm doing like the most basic. And a lot of times I'm sharing that I'm running out the door with just the shaker cup, water, and the two scoops. Because again, I'm like,
Hmm.
shit, I forgot once again to feed myself. I have fed
Yeah,
my children and now we're out for the
right.
day.
Well, we
Like
try.
that. And
Yeah.
then so it's like
Well, we try to
I'm
make
like,
them.
it tastes so good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really nice to hear for sure. Like, we try to though, like we jam pack it. I mean, it is full of superfood. So like, I feel like the convenience of that is that you're not doing like the lucuma, the baobab, the maca, this and this, and like the spinach and the kale. So like, we try to like get it all in there. But it is very, like I say that anybody can make this in the kitchen, and for sure anybody can. But it is extremely so. Like, we're measuring like 150 milligrams of like Ceylon cinnamon, or like 200 milligrams, and then we'll make it up, right, one serving at a time, and then we'll try it, and we'll be like, not enough cinnamon. We'll remake the whole thing. Now it's 250 milligrams of Ceylon cinnamon. So like, we will go through, like, in a day we'll have like 40 servings of protein, and I gotta tell you, by the end of the day, I can't. Nothing tastes normal. Like, and so like, it's like a challenge because, like, after you have 10 servings of, like, our vanilla lucuma, for example, that are all kind of similar, but maybe one's a little sweeter, one's a little bit more, spicy or whatever. You kind of, you completely can't tell the difference at some point. So like, it is very, I mean, it's tough. We'll do like week long R&D sessions where we, like, I mean, I would share. I don't have one. I probably have a picture somewhere, but it's like you can imagine like 100 like just samples of ingredients, and not and like, we'll have like cinnamon, but we'll have like cinnamon from 3 different suppliers because they're maybe a little different, or this one's like this, and so like, it's like a matrix of, it's kind of intense. Like, it's like hell week, honestly. It's kind of like, that's what it is. Like, the R&D session is what I love the most, but it's also like hell week because there's a lot of tasting and measuring and confusion and not knowing what's better. And sometimes you start to think like, is this better? I don't know. Like, is it better? And so yeah, now I do it with a partner, and it helps a lot because before I was doing it alone, and it was just like my feedback against myself. And then like,
Yeah, definitely needs want some
I don't,
other opinions to help you out there.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, maybe on our next R&D session, if somehow it works out, like it would be cool for you to just to see at least, like,
Oh my
but yeah,
gosh,
it's
that would be
intense
cool. Yeah.
because we have a lot of flavors now, and so like those are all made, all the ingredients are kind of unique in each one. Like there's some shared ingredients, but like the functional parts are different. And so like, yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's,
so cool.
yeah,
Do you
we
want to
did one
talk
recently. So I'm not doing them for a while. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, do you want to talk a little bit about the unfortunate how like ingredients aren't really regulated, or how how they can say like natural flavors and stuff like that, or like that a lot of brands are using these fillers and things like that we don't think of, or you said you study the ingredient lists at the stores, and that's something too. Like I have
Mhm.
been paying attention to especially because I stopped eating gluten in 2004, like as a way to like see if that would help my
Wow.
symptoms, and it did, and I never went back. But like, so I've like used to looking at ingredients, but it's interesting because even me, I will like know a brand and then even know the product and continue buying it, or even like, oh, that brand released a new product, and not really pay attention to the ingredients because I thought I trusted them, and then be
Mhm.
like, what's this? I just even heard something
Right.
about
Well, it happens.
I won't name the brand, but my favorite like healthier candy brand, about how their ingredients are different on their own website and everywhere they sell except for Whole Foods, because Whole Foods apparently doesn't let it like a certain
Interesting.
thing, and they're like, oh, if you buy this same brand at Whole Foods, it's going to taste different from even if you buy it on their website. And I was like, what? And
Wow.
I buy that brand all the time. Like, I was
I
like,
didn't hear about that.
whoa.
I mean, it's like, there's like big money at play, right? For like, these are big brands. I mean, some of these are 50, 100 million plus. So like, I think necessarily like as companies scale, then quality just kind of goes down, because I said this recently, but like, if you're making 1,000 units and you save $1 a unit, okay, you save $1,000, it's something, but not like, life changing. But if you're making 250,000 units and you're saving $1 a unit, and so that means getting a lower quality ingredient, like it inevitably happens. So like, our goal is never to do that. If we can make 250,000 units, that'd be great. But I think it is frustrating because marketing is so powerful, and these companies are so good at it that they can make, like, natural just doesn't mean anything anymore. And just even organic, like a lot of things can get passed in organic ingredients that aren't even organic. There's just like a list, and you have to be within a certain percentage. And so like, it is frustrating because the hardest part is to educate. For us we're like, like, we're a brand. It's hard for us to like, if I could just talk to everybody and like explain what I know, then that would be great. But like, we just have very limited space, like we only have people's attention for a couple seconds online. So it's hard to convey all this. And like, yeah, they see a brand that's a little cheaper, and sells a lot because they have a lot of ratings on Amazon, and this is natural, and so that's like enough for a lot of people, and it sucks because it's like I feel like these brands are like getting closer, right? They're like 90% of the way there, but like not all the way. And so like, we just try to kind of fill in the rest of that. And so like, yeah, natural flavoring, like, you can get a natural berry flavor, right? And it tastes like berry. I mean, to me, it tastes fake. I just honestly, like, when anything is like naturally flavored, especially protein, it always just tastes fake. It doesn't taste real, right? And so like, but the bigger, not well, another point of that is that berries have benefits. They have antioxidants and nutrients and other value. And so like, for us in like our pro collagen, we use like real freeze dried organic strawberries, blueberries, pomegranate, like sea buckthorn, like acerola, and others will just use a berry flavor. And so like, like, and I think they're missing like the point. Like, the point is that like, these are like nutritional ingredients, and they're just kind of like, their whole point is like just to get the flavor. And like, we're trying to like straddle that line of like, yes, we want it to taste good, but we also like understand like there's value in these ingredients. So like, it's kind of a shame not to use like blueberries instead of use blueberry flavor. And then yeah, like, the blueberry flavor doesn't contain any of that ingredient that you're actually like trying to flavor. So it's kind of weird, you know, like, I don't know, like there's stuff in my house that has natural flavoring in it and I like hate that I have it, but like, you know, it's in some way it's like you can't totally escape it, but like, you know, but we are one way to escape it, I guess. And like, if you have a workout or you're like in the morning and you're like, you need to like fill up, like it makes, and you know, a lot of people drink our smoothies or our protein like twice a day, right? Like just as a meal, they'll have it maybe before a workout or after a workout, or it's like a snack or whatever it is. So like, I think like just the amount that maybe people are drinking, like then, yeah, like then at least those 2 times a day, you're avoiding natural flavors, you're avoiding gums, you're avoiding like other additives and fillers that are just kind of hidden behind labels and ingredients that you just like never know. Um, so yeah, it's tough though for us because we say natural, you know. Well, actually, on our packaging, we say no natural flavoring, and then so then like, you know, maybe some people think like, well, then what are they flavoring with if it's not
Oh,
natural flavoring?
funny.
But
Yeah.
um, yeah,
I
you
make
know,
up
like
that
I don't
people
know.
would
So
understand that. I make up the clients that would be interested in it would understand that, but yeah, I get that. No, and
yeah,
yeah,
well,
like I'm the
hopefully
same
the
as
quotes help.
like I think it's can create like if we're so stressed about every single thing and like, like okay, like then obviously that's going to impact our health too. So it's not like you can never have anything with any, but like no process, like it's not ideal for most people to like go raw vegan because then what, whatever, because right, you don't want anything processed or anything this, like it's impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but for
Very hard.
most of us in what we are like, yeah, like it can create more stress than healing to like be like, I can't have this because of this. But I'm the same way too. It's like, okay, but like where can I for the most part get the best ingredients and the best nutrients? And it doesn't mean like that, yeah, there's nothing in my house, especially with kids, that it's like, yeah,
Exactly.
we're choosing the healthier options and also you're gonna be okay. Like if you
Yeah, like
eat them.
it's like right. It's like healthier. You're right. It's like, you know, like my daughter won't eat something, maybe like, you know, like maybe the natural flavoring will like kind of make her eat something like maybe like a gummy, like a vitamin gummy, right? Like
Right.
it has natural, like, you know, or even organic natural flavoring in it. Like it's a small amount. Like, do I like that she's eating it? Like I actually, I really kind of cringe that she does, but like, at least I know she's getting the vitamin. And so you kind of pick and choose your battles. Like, and that's really cool. And I understand. And it's in everything. And I think it's only going to be in more foods. But that's what's cool. I think that's what sets us apart, right? Like we could totally make a protein powder with natural flavoring in it. Like we could recreate basically anybody's protein. In fact, we can send our protein to a lab and ask them to make it taste like this product, and they could probably do it in a few days. Um, but we don't because well, one, I like, don't believe in that. Like, right, I just don't want those ingredients. I don't want those additives in our products. But also then like we're no different than anybody else, and then we don't have a business because they're just much bigger and they can out advertise us, right? And so like we need to be different. Like it's like we need to from like a business point, but also from like, I don't know, just don't want to I don't know, just like don't want to, I don't know, there's just a lot of things we don't want to use, you know. That's it really.
No, I mean, I admire that. And like I said, even though I'm not like like for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not in a place where I'm like, I can commit to no natural this or no this or everything even has to be
Sure.
organic anymore or like whatever. And just sort of like allowed myself to be more flexible with things. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm going like, okay, let me have only like the things with natural flavorings or only the this or
Yeah.
whatever. But like there's room for all of it. And then but for me, like having it be in that smoothie or even when I'm drinking it just with the water, it's just like I know I'm giving myself like the highest quality stuff right now. So like sure, maybe later tonight I'm going to
Yeah.
end up having some snack or we're going to eat out and I don't know what, like well, usually at a restaurant I guess. But yeah, you don't really know if
Yeah.
even with the things. But like it's
You
like sure, I might end up having some things later that have these ingredients, but like I'm that it's not like everything that I put in my mouth because if that is, especially most people are choosing their protein powder
Right.
of it is like a really like I am pouring nutrients into my body right now. And that it's like for me, then I'm like, yeah, I don't
Exactly.
want to have anything extra or that couldn't
Yeah.
be supporting me.
Yeah, and I think people will drink protein too, like at a potentially vulnerable time, like after a workout, where their body is just like craving just nutrition, and so like yeah, then you fill it up with something good. I agree with you totally. Probably eat. You know, it's just in everything. You know, so like yeah, like not everything is organic, not everything is natural, flavor free. Like, and I think that's something that I learned actually, like just kind of like throughout my whole process, really, and since starting college, like raw vegan was very hard. Like I thought I was doing the right thing, and I probably was eating better, but like socially, it was very like stressful, right? And so like, and like I think just in general, like any like very strict diet, it does that. And so like yeah, like to your point, I think probably like I probably would have been better off like not being raw vegan and like having a much more like kind of normal social part of like just like specifically that part. I mean, I had a very fine social life, but specifically related to food and like maybe going out to eat or just like even going to get a just to get something with my friends like out to eat versus like not eating, like sitting with them but not eating, right? Like, and that happened often. And so yeah, like we just try to like be an option. You can look at two protein powders, you can go to the store and see two different products and you can choose which one you want, right? Like based on the ingredients. So yeah, we're just an option. I know not everyone's gonna
You're
like it, right? Like
no, I think it's like seriously, it's such I'm obsessed with it, and that's not even like a joke. I'm constantly like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good this is. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how good this is. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how good this is. I've been the last
yeah,
2 days I've just been doing, and that's the thing too. Like I do eat dairy, but then I also like don't eat dairy yogurt. So I'm like, I had non-dairy yogurt. Like
mm,
I'm like such a like contradictions of like what works for me, okay? But so
yeah,
like
I do
non-dairy
exactly.
yogurt
Yeah.
with just like a scoop of the chocolate maca protein powder mixed in and cut
Mhm.
strawberries. That's what I've been having for breakfast the last couple of days, and it tastes so good and it's so easy. And I'm like, look at me, like
It's
getting these
amazing.
extra nutrients
Our
in.
new chocolate, yeah, our new chocolate that we just finished is so it's so good. You need a what you have probably isn't because the new stuff just came. It's just finished. Like I just got a sample of it yesterday.
Oh,
So yeah, you can try it. Anyway, it's similar, but it's just
cool.
better. Like that's the thing. It's like every time it's similar but better. Yeah, it's there's a lot of creative ways people eat. Yeah, like I do. My wife will do a chocolate maca with a yogurt, like a harmless harvest maybe, and then she'll freeze it, and then it's kind of like
Ooh.
it's like
All right, I
a
have to try
it's like a
that.
custard or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's like very good. Yeah, yeah. There's just a lot of things you could do with it, but it's cool because you just like you can add like just yeah, like you said, like add nutrition to this or that.
Yeah.
Get a little protein, and there's a lot of other cool ingredients in the products.
All right, I'm going to get to the questions I ask everybody as we're wrapping up. What is a go-to raise your joy levels? Maybe when you're feeling a bit off or bummed, or you want to boost your mood before a call or something.
Sure. Um, my probably favorite thing ever is just to like headphones with music. I like electronic music, like house music, and then just go. I'm like like a couple blocks from the lake, so just to go
Mhm.
bike and then have the headphones in, and it's like like you see everything, but like you're kind of in your own world, but like everything is just it's just so nice. So yeah, I mean, music is probably my go-to, and then specifically in that kind of when the weather is nice to be on a bike is amazing.
Love that. Okay, what is easiest for you is not always what is best for you. So, can you think of a way to apply that to your own life where it's where like a natural way you're like this? So, what is easiest for me is blank. What is best for me is blank. And it doesn't have to be harder. It's just sort of like a
Um,
way you're wired or you fight yourself on.
yeah, well, yeah, waking up in the morning. I mean, it's easy for me just to, like I can't sleep till 10, but like I definitely don't love waking up like before 7. Even though my daughter does. So yeah, it's easy for me to sleep in and like not start, but like yeah, so it's hard. So when I'm up, I'm like, yeah, it takes me a while to it takes me like a little bit to warm up.
So, as easiest for you is to sleep in when what's best for you is to get up
Wake up
by a
early and
certain
just
time.
get started. Yeah.
um,
Yeah, because my daughter's just running around, and she's like opening the blinds and trying to get our attention, and I'm just like, so yeah, it would be yeah, that's hard. It's hard to get up.
Um, that's fine. My kids are almost 5, or no, almost 6. The youngest is almost turning 6, and the older one is almost 8. And I'm at a time where I have to wake them up now. And it's like so
Oh,
like
good for you.
weird. I'm like, wow, like we're here now.
Does that happen? Okay,
I've
I didn't know that happened.
I don't know if it happens for all kids because I do have like some friends where their kids are still like early risers, but then they can become more independent. But yeah, like my kids, I have to like wake up every day for school or for summer camp.
When did they go to bed?
Oh, it depends between. Well, things are a bit goofy with the summer between like 8 and 9:30.
Summers are weird.
Yeah, but some
Okay.
yeah. But even for the
Yeah,
school,
it's a
if
long
they
day.
were going, even during the school year, when I was like being better about it, and they'd be like, especially the youngest, be asleep by 8, then I would still have a hard time waking her up in the morning. Okay, the last question is the name
Yeah,
of the
our
podcast
day.
is oh, sorry. The name of the podcast is
No, go
Claim
ahead.
It. What are you claiming for yourself right now?
Can you give me a past example? Just to kind of get my
Well,
mind
I'll give like
thinking.
a little bit more
Claim it.
context. I'll give you some context. So the reason
Sure.
it's called Claim It is because I believe that we can, just as humans, we can unconsciously be like, oh, I'll be enough once I do this, or once I have this, or I'll be fulfilled or successful once I reach this or do this. Like we're putting it outside of ourselves, and it's usually from a like how it would look, how our life would look, you know. But I feel like if we
Hmm.
focus how it would feel, then you can tap into it. Like, what would it feel like to be enough? What does successful feel like? What does it feel like to be fulfilled to me? Then you can actually like claim that feeling a little bit or a lot in the now instead of like,
Hmm.
once I do this, have this. So the idea is to claim
Hmm.
what it is that you want to feel, own, believe about yourself in your life right now. So you can, it could even be like, I claim that I'm running an awesome business. I'm claiming expansion. I'm claiming my next chapter. People say all sorts of different things of whatever comes to you, but just like what shows up
Hmm.
when you say I claim, you'd be like, I claim ease. I
I would.
claim.
Well, I don't know if this maybe doesn't fit exactly, but doing like this interview is actually not something that I'm not very comfortable in these kinds of situations. And so like something that I, want to claim, I don't know if this works, but just to get better at it, honestly. Like I don't know if that means doing it more often or just I don't know, there's like a lot I want to say, and then also it's like, like it's just, yeah, I'm like too much in my own head, like I don't want to say the wrong thing. And so yeah, so I want to claim, how would I phrase it? I want to claim more comfort in these kinds of scenarios. That work?
Yeah, and also does that maybe mean like claim like putting yourself out there more to like be having these sorts of like conversations or like be like, because I make up maybe you're not as much like the face of your brand or like whatever, but to like, yeah, claim like sharing my story more or sharing my passion or like is it that or just like I'm showing to say yes to more invitations.
Yeah, no, I think it's that. I think it's, yeah, I think it's like seeking these opportunities for many reasons. One of them is, yeah, just building self confidence in the conversations. Yeah,
Awesome.
I
And
like that.
I feel like you did a great job. But yeah, I think with anything, it's like the more we do it, the more it becomes like second nature, and like, oh yeah, then we become more like, oh right, this is what I'm doing.
I mean, like listening to you right now, it feels like literally like you're just having a. It's like there's no one else at all involved. You're just having a conversation with a friend. So yeah, it's like actually like listening to you is kind of comforting to me to try to like kind of get on that level a little bit, but still it's like new. I don't know if you've done probably 100 dozens at least of these podcasts, so like yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I've done lots of hundreds, but yeah, I sort of just treat it as if I'm having a conversation with a brand new friend. Like, oh, let's get into it, and oh yeah, people are
Yeah,
gonna listen to this. Oh
nice.
right.
Yeah, I have
Awesome.
a feeling like if we were to like if we were to say like cut and then like, hey, this didn't record, let's redo it, I feel like like I would just already be so much better at it. So but anyway, it was really nice. Yeah, really nice to chat with you.
You too. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for creating your amazing products and continuing to put them out there because, like I said, I'm seriously
Yeah.
obsessed.
Cool. Thank you. That's nice to hear. Thank you.